Music's greatest songs. Greatest songs. Worth covering. Original classic hitmakers.
This is going to be a delicious few minutes. Sit back. I want you to sit back in your seat, whether you're in the car, whether you're at home, whatever you're doing. Let's just take a minute to weave in and out of the lovely story of how a band, an alternative rock, alternative American rock, that's what they call them, if we're going to, stick them into a genre, how they came to be and why they came to be and the intricacies of that. And actually it's all about one man called Dave Grohl who decided, and this is a quote from him, "Why be what everyone wants me to be? I want to do exactly the opposite of what everyone expects and wants me to do right now." Yeah, that happened. And the thing is, Big Cassie, you asked me earlier, are you a fan of the Foo Fighters? And I'm like, shrug, fine. They were around, they were great, danced to them, did all that jazz, but was I chasing them? Not really. There's a lot of guitar going on, sometimes gets a bit thrashy for me, but the story behind them and some of their songs, nothing short of incredible. So let me tell you about the Foo Fighters, rock band, formed in Seattle, Washington, 1994. Now, it immediately gets good. Did you know they were founded by the former Nirvana drummer, Dave Grohl? It was a one-man project and it followed the dissolution of Nirvana. Now, Nirvana, who I have covered on the Music Greats already, maybe you have to be a certain age to understand the relevance of Nirvana. I know that I've made sure that my kids know who Nirvana are. I know that they can sing choruses from several Nirvana songs because to me it's essential. Not just to hear Nirvana music, but to understand Kurt Cobain, what happened, why it happened, his wife. His daughter is called Bean, and that always was, my daughter's called Lola Bean. She won't thank me for announcing that on her, but her middle name is Bean because actually when you get that first, you get the first scan and you're looking at it, you don't know which way up it is, and you're like, what am I looking at? And it kind of looked like a kidney bean, and we were in love with this snapshot, but it just looked like a kidney bean, and so we called it the Bean. It was like as Lola grew and got big and my tummy got big, it was like the Bean. And so when she finally arrived on the planet, she was Lola Bean. And so I keep saying to her, this is a great stage name. You have to roll with Lola Bean. Like, it's a great name.
Fact.
She's like, no.
I'll sign her.
Yeah, will you? Lola Bean, it's good, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lola Bean. Bean! When I say Lola, you say Bean.
Oh, wow. Yeah, let's get into the emceeing of it. If you could have a word with her house next time you see her. So getting back to Kurt Cobain, obviously, Kurt Cobain was such a talent, such an extraordinary talent, to the point where he was one of those tortured geniuses. And obviously struggled with everything in life, even though incredibly famous, delivering such incredible music. Kurt Cobain couldn't handle life and chose not to. And so obviously, and that had huge repercussions for everyone. When that happened and he died, Nirvana broke up. And there is Dave Grohl. He's the drummer of Nirvana at the time. And he decided, right, I'm going to set up another band. And ended up setting up the Foo Fighter. There was apparently the Foo Fighter is a nickname that was allotted to the Allied aircraft pilots for UFOs and other aerial phenomena. Did you know that? They're called the Foo Fighters.
Nice.
Because they're up there doing their thing, fighting phenomena. So over the course of their career, Foo Fighters have won 12 Grammy Awards, including Best Rock Album 4 times. All right, so 1995, Foo Fighters get together. Grohl was the only official member. He sort of recruited people. So he got Nate Mendel in to be the bassist. He got William Goldsmith in from another band. And then he got the Nirvana guitarist Pat Smear in. So then they suddenly started doing performances. Portland, Oregon, they did it first of all. And they released then a second album, The Color and the Shape. That was 1997. And then people started leaving and people joined. And there's this whole section of a few years where people are in, people are out. It's like, close the door on your way out. Oh, someone else is coming in. And that was going on. The background to it is all about Dave Grohl. So during his tours with Nirvana and being part of that band, he also he played guitar as well. He wasn't just the drummer, he played the guitar. He also wrote songs, but he was so, and this is him talking, he was so intimidated to share them with Nirvana because he was totally in awe of everything written by Kurt Cobain. And it was just that incredible talent. If you think what came out of Kurt Cobain, the songs of Nirvana, if you've not listened to anything from Nirvana, I urge you to. You just need to, as a piece of musical history.
It's an era, though. Like, I hear you, and I respect the fact that you're giving it to, you're educating.
Yeah.
I think it's also an era. Like, for me, it represents an era, and this is why you...
and a
it's
vibe
fascinating.
and a feel.
And it has to be educated, like, about that, you know? And I love parents who educate kids about all sort of music, whether it's... Because you got the Frank Sinatra era, you got even the jazz era.
Also, I push that on them.
And you know, like, even before, and, you know, there's many, and of course... The rock, Metallica,
but you know, these defining moments. I mean, Kurt Cobain also, was a tortured genius, musically astounding, but was seriously unhappy. And you have to kind of try and wonder why someone so talented and had everything going for him, a beautiful wife, they were living the fast lane, they were fit, you know, he had a little girl. Like, what is torturing you so much? But of course he was totally tortured, but clearly had this awe around him. And if you are going to do some research on Nirvana and what happened, then you have to find out about the MTV Live, because that's one of the biggest MTV Live sort of moments when Kurt Cobain and Nirvana appeared there, and the story behind that, which I'd love to talk about and can't. But then there's Grohl, it's Dave Grohl, the drummer, occasionally booked studio time at this point to record demos and covers. And he actually had an album of demos, and he released it under a pseudonym called Late. This is 1992. The demos were called Pocket Watch, but the production was called Late. And he didn't tell Nirvana. So, of course, then Nirvana split up. Grohl's there. And this is where it gets good. He said, I got offers to work with everyone. And it rumoured that he was going to join Pearl Jam. Oh, that would have been amazing, yeah. And he almost accepted a position, he said, as the drummer with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. That's an era, isn't it? And he later said, what, I was supposed to just join another band and be the drummer? You know, for the rest of my life, that's what I'm supposed to do. And he said, I just thought that I would rather do what no one expected me to do. So he set up his own band. He started using his own songs. He started writing his own songs. He was playing every instrument. He was singing every vocal. He was doing everything. And he had all this stuff. He had friends, musicians. And then in the end, he set up the Foo Fighters, and it was this, you know, World War II term for flying objects and things like that. And so that is how the Foo Fighters became the Foo Fighters. They debuted on February the 23rd in 1995. Off in California, off they went, and then have systematically won, as I said at the beginning, 12 Grammy Awards, including Best Rock Album. Amazing. There's lots to say about different members of the band, but actually, you know, as always with these kind of greats, I'd be here all night. Let me tell you about the song. So Best of You was released as the lead single from their fifth album, and the album was called In Your Honor. We're talking 2005. And Dave Grohl said that the song was written following appearances at 2004 American presidential candidate John Kerry's campaign trial. Do you remember that? And it's about breaking away from things that confine you. And the song holds the band's highest chart peak in the US. It sat at number 18. The UK, number 4. Australia, number 5. Was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Rock Song, and it won the Kerrang Award for Best Single. It's funny here it's saying the Kerrang. I used to go to the awards there. Billboard's Hot Mainstream Rock Tracks. It was at the top of those for 4 weeks. Hot Modern Rock Tracks. It was there for 7 weeks. It did that thing, you know, when a song just spins out and just grabs. But actually, this is one of the songs that was buried. He didn't. He took it to the Foo Fighters, and they were a bit like, and then they didn't feel it was them. They shelved it, and it was actually their manager who brought it back a year later and went, get back to that one, do Best of You. And then it becomes their biggest hit again. You know, it's the ducks and dives around all of it that is amazing. So here we go. The Foo Fighters, derived really from Nirvana, the teen spin-off of Nirvana. The album is called In Your Honor, and this is the song Best of You on Yalla Home on the Music Rates.
If you liked this episode of Yalla Home, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.